Hi everyone, it's Mark here again. I'm the founder of the Arts and Culture Network. I'm joined today by Kathleen Sykes. Hi Kathleen, giving everyone a wave, that's nice. This is the best fun of the job for me, which is where I get to meet some of our full members and introduce them to the rest of you. So Kathleen, thank you so much for joining us today.
Nice to be here.
And thank you also for being one of our full members. As you know, we're decidedly independent as a global community, and that means no sponsorship, no advertisers, no grant making bodies, and no shareholders. So in order for this to continue, we're entirely member funded. So thank you very much for being one of our full members. So we're going to have some fun in a moment, creating your fantasy cultural year. I should point out to our viewers and listeners that Kathleen has had no warning about this whatsoever. So this will be fun. And then wherever this appears on YouTube, SoundCloud, on our website and on LinkedIn, there'll be contact details for Kathleen so that you can get in touch with her afterwards. So before we do that, Kathleen, why don't you give us the Kathleen story? Tell us where you are, the work you do, and perhaps give us some examples of current projects.
I am in Salt Lake City, Utah. I know every time I talk to someone who's British, they're like, wait, where is that? So it's kind of on the West Coast, about like a state away from California, if you can kind of know where that is. But I got into the arts like as a kid. My mom told me I'm the youngest of four children. She said I was the only one who ever like drew on the walls or destroyed their property. But I was always interested in art, and my parents put me in ballet as a young kid, and I did ballet for about 14 years. Decided, okay, maybe I don't want to be in a studio the rest of my life. And then I went and did a fine arts like minor in college. And then I decided like maybe I don't want to be covered in paint the rest of my life. And so I studied arts administration, and it was, a focus in business administration specifically for nonprofit arts organizations. And after that, I ended up having a couple different jobs and doing a few things and doing some volunteer work, but I ended up working at a agency for a little while where I had a client that was a museum, and I'm like, oh, I actually kind of like this. And I had done an internship with a local symphony orchestra company. I mean, it's usually like opera, ballet, but this was opera and symphony. And so I applied for a job with them and I got it, and I worked for them for 5 years. In the last 2 years, I've been freelance, and the majority of the work that I do focuses on getting people to events. So I work with kind of a breadth of clients, but I want to get more into the arts and cultural space again. And I work with clients, getting them to retreats, getting them to classes, getting them to that kind of thing. But my love was, the performing arts, and so I want to get more into that again.
Brilliant. I love the phrase on your LinkedIn profile, out of their house into yours.
I wonder where I got that from.
I wonder where you got that from. That's brilliant. And that's effectively it, so that's great. I'm often reminded that from the vast majority of organizations and events, the single biggest challenge is that at any given time, insufficient numbers of the right people even know it exists.
Yeah.
And has always been the case, and will be. One of the workshops I do for our members is around minimalist marketing. I think we might have talked about that the last time we met. There's that lovely saying from the 1950s, I know half my advertising works, I just don't know which half. Um, uh, excuse me. So, but now with digital, it's so much easier to track things. So, yeah, it's finding, and there's a lovely saying by Seth Godin, and again, I probably mentioned it last time, find your smallest viable audience and become the best option for it. And
Right.
that is people in a certain town who like going out on a Tuesday night. That's your audience. So
Yes.
anyway, we digress. And I know we digressed last time as well. So wherever this appears, people will be able to contact you. So that's going to be great. But what I'd like to do now is to is have a bit of fun, because I've learned that this is a lovely way of pulling out anecdotes, preferences, laughter, and surprises. So but you know, you don't know what's coming. So I'm going to give you create your fantasy cultural year from the answers to 10 questions, 10 or so questions. The first of which, and this will place you somewhere in the world, is what's your favorite building?
My favorite building in the whole world. Oh, geez, that is a hard question. Um, you know, I remember going and seeing the Paris Opera House in a study abroad in Paris, and it was just absolutely stunning, just blew my mind. So I'll probably go with that one.
Excellent. So I'd like you to imagine you're sitting outside the Paris Opera House.
Okay.
And to allow people to see where you are, I'm going to show them it.
Okay.
Wow. So I'm just going to share my screen so that people can see. This is the Paris Opera House. That's quite a place.
Yeah, just a very subtle building.
Yeah, a nice subtle foyer there. Wow, that looks amazing. There we go. I bet that's seen some and heard some music. Excellent. Right. Oh, and look, that's a great picture.
Oh, oh gosh, what
What
is
a
that?
picture.
By
That one,
there?
yeah, that's what you've got in store. So there we go. That's where your story starts, at the Paris Opera House. Now I'd like you to imagine you're sitting at a pavement cafe
Okay.
within sight of the Paris Opera.
Hmm.
And it's June, it's 6 p.m. and it's sunny and
Okay.
warm and lovely. And you're having a break after a meeting, about which I'll tell you in a minute. Okay.
Okay.
And on your right is a book. And that book can be your favorite book. It could be a book that's been with you all your life. It could be a book that's changed your life. It could be a book you've discovered recently. But please tell me what that book might be.
Oh, geez. Probably Man's Search for Meaning. It is like one of my all-time favorite books. When I was a teenager, I had some like really bad issues with depression. My mom gave that to me, and it kind of helped a little bit, and I didn't fully understand it, but like I read it maybe 4 or 5 times as, the years have gone by, and it's just like changed me every single time I've read it.
Great, great recommendation. Man's Search for Meaning. I imagine
Mhm.
they mean man in the mankind sense rather than,
Yes.
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 Excellent. Um, Wonderful. So that's on your right. Now on your left, it's
Mm.
6 p.m. So the sun is comfortably over the yardarm if you wanted to have a boozy drink. But there is a beverage on your left. You can have any drink you like. What would you go for?
Maybe sounds super basic, but just Diet Coke.
Diet Coke. Do you want a rum in that?
No, actually, I just like it the way it is. We're good.
Mine would be a rum and Coke. There we go. Or possibly a dirty martini, which I love. No, a dirty mojito. Sorry, a dirty
Okay.
mojito. That's with dark rum in it.
Ah,
Oh,
got it. Yeah.
lovely. Okay, so there you are. Now you're feeling quite pleased with yourself because you've just come from a meeting in the Paris Opera,
Okay.
in the cafe there, with a wealthy French family foundation, who have invited you because of your expertise and your skills and your passion for the arts
Hmm.
to spend a year in the country of your choice studying young people's interaction with the arts and culture.
Uh-huh.
It's first class all the way. It's highly paid, all expenses paid. Any domestic restrictions will be sorted out. You can take loved ones with you, or they can come and visit you during that year. Sounds like a perfect gig. Okay.
Okay.
All you need to, does it sound like a good gig?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Absolutely, yes. So all you need to do is decide which country you'd like to visit.
Wow.
To study young people's opinion of the arts and culture sector.
So that's going to be a tough one for me because I am split between two. I love Scotland. I love kind of the arts culture that they have up there, but I actually lived for a year and a half in Spain, and I just fell in love with it. I got fluent in Spanish. There's so many great people there, and they have kind of an unusual arts culture where, they have some really beautiful classical art, and they also have a lot of people who are trying to create new art. And I think I'll just have to go with Spain.
Perfect. And where in
Yeah.
Spain would you like, which city would you like to be based in?
You know what? I've never been to Barcelona, so I'll go there to go to Barcelona.
Perfect. Excellent. Right, you're on the way. Okay.
Yes. Okay.
You've got Las Ramblas, you've got the beachfront, you've got La Sagrada Familia, the Gaudi Cathedral to look forward to. So you're on your way. Now you're on the plane. You turned
Mhm.
left when you got on the plane because you're traveling first class. And the steward comes to you and says, I have a note for you from the Family Foundation.
Okay.
They thought they'd wait until you were on the plane. Um, they'd like to study you while you study Spain. And
Okay.
what we want to establish is the impact on you of limiting your musical listening to one very specific genre or type of music, to the exclusion of all else for 12
Okay.
months. What genre or type of music would you choose in those circumstances?
Oh, the one I always go to, classical music. I love opera. I love classical music. If you need me to pick an era, it's probably basically anything that happened, in the early 1900s.
Early 1900s. Okay,
Yeah.
nice. Beginning of the 20th century.
Yeah.
You've got the Rite of Spring, all sorts of, and yes, that's a nice choice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Everything starts to get experimental. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it all starts happening. Um,
Yeah.
excellent. Now, um, you arrive in
Mhm.
Barcelona, and a group of young Spanish arts and culture students are there to welcome you, holding your name up on a piece of paper at the airport. They usher you into a limousine with all your bags. They whisk you into the center of Barcelona and install you in your loft apartment overlooking La Sagrada Familia.
Mhm.
You have a butler, a maid, and a cook
Okay.
in this fantasy year.
It's
Okay,
great.
I know, isn't it? Fortunately, you're uh, you're fluent in Spanish, so that's going to help enormously. There we go. Good choice. They say to you, please settle in, unpack, relax. We're going to take you out to a dance performance. And then we're going to take you out to dinner. Now, this is a fantasy trip, so you don't have to stay Spanish while you're in Spain if you don't wish to, but you can. So on the stage at the theatre for the dance performance for you can be any dancer, living or dead,
Oh,
any dance group, or any dance style. What would
okay.
you like to see in front of you?
Gene Kelly.
Oh, what a choice.
Oh, geez. Yeah, I mean, since I was a dancer as a kid, I remember being asked at an audition once, like, who was your favorite dancer? And it was an audition for the Nutcracker, which in the US we do this every year around Christmas time. And so the judges were out and they were discussing who they wanted to be in the Nutcracker. And the proctor for the audition was asking us who our favorite dancers were. And I was the only one in the room who raised my hand and said Gene Kelly, anyone who was dead or in a movie that, all the judges would have known about. And he was just so impressed.
Brilliant. I love it.
Yeah.
You've reminded me I need to what which is the movie where he does this sort of fantasy in this huge soundstage with Sid Charisse?
American in Paris.
Is it
Oh my gosh. Yeah. That end scene is just absolutely stunning.
Sid Charisse with the endless legs, isn't it?
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah.
Yes.
I shall have a look at that again. I did Singing in the Rain actually with Tommy Steele as a show when I was much younger.
No way.
That was good fun. That's hard for the percussionists because
Oh yeah.
it's crash bang wallop all the time.
Oh yeah.
Excellent. Right, there we go. So You finished the show. It was wonderful. You had Gene Kelly on stage. We'll throw in Donald, what is it? Donald O'Connor and
Yes.
who else was it in? Debbie Reynolds. And probably we'll have a guest spot with Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers
Oh,
as
please. Yes, that'd be great. Yes.
well. What a show. Excellent. And now they want to take you out to dinner. Now you're in Spain. You can stay Spanish if you wish, but they've said there are several wonderful restaurants in Barcelona. So you can choose the national cuisine. Which would you choose?
Uh, I actually just really love Spanish food. It's just simple food done very well. And so I would be down for anything Spanish. Of course, I'm also like the worst person to go to a restaurant with and be like, hey, where do you want to eat? And I'm like, I'll go anywhere. And like literally, I will go anywhere and I will eat anything off the menu. Very adventurous with food.
I've got a habit of asking somebody else to choose my meal when we go out, and keep it a secret.
Oh,
So
wow.
when if I'm out with friends, I'll text my daughter and I'll send her the menu, and she sends back to one of my friends my choice, so I have no idea what's coming.
Oh,
Um,
that's
I love doing that. It's like Russian roulette goes to restaurants.
that's great.
Um, Excellent. Okay, where did we get to? Right. So yes, you've had a wonderful Spanish meal, and
Mhm.
you've hit the sack, knackered and tired. Um, the next day is sport day in Barcelona, and
Okay.
many of us consider sport to be a performance art. Um, Synchronized swimming is the closest thing that swimmers get to dancing, I guess.
Um,
Rhythmic gymnastics again, and floor exercises, for example. So I think breakdancing is a trial sport in the Olympics this year.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. Have a look at, there's a dancer, apparently the best in the world is a British guy called Kid Karam.
Kid
He's
Karam.
Kid
Okay.
Karam, Karam. Yeah, he's tipped for gold. But I think it's what do they call it? An exhibition sport or something. So
Okay.
yeah, be good. Anyway,
Okay.
we've got that
Yeah.
to look forward to in the summer. Um, but it's sport day, and your guests, your hosts have said they'd like to take you to a sporting event. Uh,
Okay.
what would you like to watch?
Okay. I am not much of a sports person. I can kind of get into baseball. My family is obsessed with American football, but I do not understand it. Do not ask me the rules because I don't get it. I mean, I figure, if I'm in Spain, I never got the chance to actually go to a real like football game. Like, I would want to go to that. Maybe not for the actual sports, but I love watching actual sports fans.
Okay, well, we're going to take you to the big one, which is Real Madrid against
Yes,
Barcelona
of
at the
course.
Nou Camp Stadium in Barcelona. There you go. VIP, you're in the
Ooh,
director's box. All the
yeah.
Now the next day is Visual Art Day,
Okay.
and the in Barcelona there is a wonderful digital gallery that has a sort of captured all of the technology, and it has an archive of the works of every significant artist.
Okay.
And it brings them to life in a kind of immersive experience with projections, screens, and they've even got a VR set. You can put a headset on and step into a painting and walk around in a painting. So um, you can do this at the flick of a switch, but you can only choose one visual artist. Whose work would you like to step into?
Oh my gosh, okay, my mind just went blank with all my favorite artists. Yeah. Okay, Gustav Klimt. He just
Clint.
Oh, yeah. No, he just had the most beautiful sense of form and gesture and color and all that gold, of course.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
the blue lady is is lovely as well. That's fantastic. That was owned by one of my clients' fathers, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
He was an art collector. His name was Marcus Misner, and he used to pay the rent for struggling artists in the early 1900s.
Wow.
And Klimt was one of them. Uh,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And when he died, Marcus Misner died, he donated his art collection to the Tel Aviv Museum of Art, and they had to build a new wing for it.
Yeah.
And it included the Blue Lady, the Klimt.
Oh my goodness.
Unbelievable. Yeah.
Yeah. If I could just be transformed into a Klimt painting, I would be very happy with that.
Yeah. Well, AI can probably do that for you these
Sure.
days.
Yeah.
Are you an AI fan or resistor?
Actually, I've started to become a fan. I think at first I was a little bit nervous because I'm like, okay, there's no way that it will ever like it, meet my standards because the AI, I was using it for, trying to use it to help me write at the time, and it was just, yeah, it just wasn't working. But no, I've started to use it a little bit more. Again, I don't think it'll ever take over the human touch. I think that the human touch is really important, and I just don't think that it'll be able to do that. It can't see around corners. It doesn't have emotion the same way we do, and it never will. But I do like that it can be used as a good jumping off point to start things off.
Yeah, I use it quite a lot. So when our
Mhm.
interview is published, it'll be accompanied by a profile about you.
Ah,
And that will also be added to the YouTube uh,
okay.
channel and SoundCloud and LinkedIn. Now, Google doesn't like finding the same copy in several different places.
Yeah.
So I run those through ChatGPT and I just say rewrite, rewrite, rewrite
Oh,
this.
yeah.
So it's great. Excellent.
Outsource all the grunt work. It's great. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, good. Well, I hope you enjoy your Klimt. That would be marvelous, being able to step into that gold painting
The
as a 3D
flowers.
environment and walk around and have a look at what's on the back.
Yeah.
That was inspired, I think the cartoon feature, Tarzan, was the first one, was the first animated cartoon in which the camera moved.
Ah,
And in order for the camera to fly through following Tarzan swinging like this,
yeah.
um, the computer program had to know what was on the other side of the tree. So it was in the AI. This is 25 years ago, perhaps,
Right.
because up until then, it'll all been celluloid.
Yeah.
With a celluloid cartoon, nobody needs to know what's on the back of Snow White's dress because you'll never
Right.
see it. But if your camera's moving, the system has to know. And I think that's how this would work. So you can imagine you've been helicoptered into the middle of St. Mark's Square in Venice in a Canaletto painting. It'd be quite incredible. Anyway, if you see that's been invented, it should have been me. um, Now it's to lighten the mood somewhat, we're going to let you go to a pop concert, a
Okay.
play, a musical, or an opera.
Oh boy. Okay, wait. So if I'm only allowed to listen to classical music, do I just like have to plug my ears if I go to the pop concert
No,
or?
this is you're given the
Okay.
night off for this.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna make it more fun.
Okay.
I need a pop concert,
Okay.
a play,
Okay.
a musical,
Okay.
and an opera. We're going to have 4 nights of culture, and you can choose which ones they are.
Okay. So as far as the pop concert goes, I might like bend the rules a bit on this one, but I remember one of the best concerts I went to was Renee Elise Goldsberry at the Deer Valley Amphitheater up in Park City, Utah. And she, for the people who don't know who she was, she played Angelica Schuyler in Hamilton. She was really just incredible. And also she was like super nice to the staff and her fans. It was great. I was working that concert. So that was great. Okay, so the next one is a musical or a play or
Play next. Yeah.
okay, play. One play I've never seen live, but I've like read the text and everything, The Changeling. That's one that I would really like to see. It's a very
Okay.
old play, but yeah.
That's fine. Musical.
Musical.
You can have anyone you like, and you can even have the original cast.
You can have the original cast. Oh, uh, I remember going to London with my mom when I was about 20, and we saw Singing in the Rain on stage, and it was so good. I mean, I hate to do one that's like based on a movie, but it was really just, it blew my mind, and I like never forgot about it. It was beautiful.
That was probably Tommy Steele, and I might have been playing.
No way. Oh my gosh. Yeah, no. And I loved it because it was like we were the first like three rows and their little ponchos there. So they fill the stage with water and you end up getting wet. It's great.
Yeah. Rumor has it, it wasn't only water in those tanks.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Well, good thing you told
Um,
me 15 years later. So
yeah. I think it won't have been me, because this I was shortly out of college when I did this, but I did it in Birmingham with Tommy
okay.
Steele, and Tommy Steele was a difficult guy, and he was rude to many people, and the stagehands used to top up the tanks between shows.
Oh
You didn't hear
my
it
God.
from me, and it wasn't me.
I do love hearing these like back channels stories
I know.
though.
I've got some lovely percussionist stories as well, because my
Huh?
background is playing in pits and orchestras. Um, if we get time, I'll tell you one.
Please.
I'll tell you it now quickly. There was this chap who. Do you mind if we digress?
Oh yeah, of course. Go for it.
Right. There's this chap who was a percussionist, and he was quite naughty, and he fell out with the conductor. He often did.
Uh-huh.
He now plays percussion for Hans Zimmer, so he's brilliant. He's
Right.
absolutely brilliant, but he was naughty. Um, and he was doing an opera at Covent Garden in London, and it was the press night, really quite important. And on stage, at some point in the performance, two adversaries, one shoots the other. Okay. Now, noises like that are made by the percussionists. And
Yes.
so Gary had a starting pistol and a steel bucket.
Right.
Worked fine. And to make sure he did it at exactly the right time, he rigged up a mirror on the pit wall so he could see onto the stage.
Right.
However, on this first press night, he'd had a row with the conductor, who was giving him an open cue so that he could just look up and bang.
Uh-huh.
And he started shaking his head. So, I'm not doing it. Conductors, what do you mean you're not doing it? He said, no, not doing it. Like this. And these guys were getting ready to shoot each other. And so the conductor, panicking, starts wading through the second violins to get to this pistol to do it at the right time. On the stage, one of the adversaries pulls the pistol and does the shoot, and nothing. Okay, Gary's down there going, no, looking at the mirror. And to his credit, the actor and singer pretended it was a faulty weapon and threw it across the stage, took out a dagger and plunged it into the stomach of his adversary on stage. And at that exact moment, Gary went bang. He didn't play there again for a while, as you can imagine. So uh,
Oh,
anyway,
that's funny.
lovely. I've got so many more like that. I should write a book.
Oh, please do.
Anyway, we digress. We digress.
Final one is an opera,
Opera.
right?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, that one's a tough one because okay, I always like, put it into different categories when people ask, what's your favorite classic opera? Barber of Seville. What is your favorite modern opera? I remember the opera company I worked for, they did a version of Silent Night, and I was working in the marketing team at the time, and it was such a big deal that we were doing this that we needed a lot of media on it. And so I was there at every single dress rehearsal, every single black box rehearsal, and every single performance. And I just remember like crying every single time. It was such a beautiful opera, and the music was just like this beautiful pastiche of like all these different styles. Yeah, Silent Night. If I could go see Silent Night again and just see it done with a really wonderful, amazing cast, I would love that.
Just want to look it up. Silent Night Opera.
Yeah, it's based off the movie Joyeux Noël.
Kevin Putz and librettist Mark Campbell.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I've
Oh,
not
and
heard
it's
that.
great because it's in three different languages too.
Wow. I'm going to have to
Yeah.
look into that. You can
Oh,
have that. You've got that. It's yours.
yeah.
And so the next day is film night.
Okay.
Okay. your Barcelona friends want you to choose a film that you love that you think they might not have seen.
Oh, that they may have not have seen. Um, how old are my Barcelona friends?
They're in their 20s.
In their 20s. Oh, geez. I watched recently and it became one of my favorite movies, Topsy Turvy. It's about
Yeah,
the creation of the Mikado and Gilbert and Sullivan and just, these weird characters all throughout it that are very emblematic of Victorian England, and the music is great and the singing is good, and it's just kind of a wacky movie altogether. I loved it.
love it. Jim Broadbent, I think, plays the lead in that.
Yes.
Yeah, great movie. Excellent. Yes, you can have that. Now, we're approaching the end of your first week, and then they'll let you go on to travel around Spain and do all your studying. But I'm going to give you a hero day.
Okay.
Um, and you can have two lunches,
Okay.
Saturday and Sunday. Okay. Both beautiful restaurants, 2-hour booking. The first Saturday is for members of your family.
Okay.
And the second and the Sunday lunch is for 3 of your all-time heroes.
Okay.
Now, they can be with us or not for both
Okay.
family and your celebrity heroes. They don't need to be celebrities, but just heroes, really.
Mhm.
And whoever you invite will come. You can
Okay.
have typically it's 3, but if
Yeah.
you wanted to add to your family one, you can. So you don't necessarily need to tell me who's coming to your family lunch, but you can if you wish. But I'm
Okay.
really keen to know who's going to be the 3 people sitting around the table with you for your hero lunch.
My hero lunch. Okay. For the family lunch, am I allowed to do, sorry, maybe I'm like changing the rules here on you. Am I allowed to do like people alive or dead or anything? Same thing with the
Yeah,
hero lunch. Okay. Um, okay, we'll scrap the 2-hour booking for my family lunch. There was a friend that I made in Madrid when I lived there. We always called her Abuelita. Her name was Maria Esther. But she was like the little grandma. So abuelita, which is the word for little grandma in Spanish, of the volunteer group that was there with me. And she passed away a few years ago. Sorry. Most amazing person, but every time we went over to her house, she like would just go raiding her cabinets, even though she didn't have a lot of money, or a lot of resources, and she would feed us. And she was just the kindest woman I had ever met. And if there was anywhere that I'd want to bring my family, it would be her house. It was the most amazing thing.
that's
She was
lovely.
the kindest woman.
Mm.
As far as my hero lunch goes, yeah, we can go to a nice restaurant for that one. But who would I want to be there? Viktor Frankl, because I loved Man's Search for Meaning so much. Um, Jane Austen. I am such a Jane Austen junkie that I would be like, I'd just be amazed to meet her. Um, and this is more of a recent interest for me, but Jonathan Haidt. He wrote all these books he's a social psychologist. He's written a lot of these books, particularly about young people and their reactions to the world. He wrote a book called The Righteous Mind about why people get so divided over politics and religion. He recently wrote one called The Anxious Generation, about which I keep meaning to pick up, about like why young people, particularly Gen Z, Gen Alpha, are getting so anxious and what are some things we can do about it. And like I would just love to pick his brain.
Great. What a lovely lunch that would be. I'd love to be a fly on the wall for that one. So there we are. Your induction has done. You've had a wonderful year. You've learned an awful lot about how young people in Spain relate to the arts and culture. I
Mhm.
imagine you'll probably advise that the French, no, where were we? We were at the Paris Opera, yes. The
Yes.
French Family Foundation, that actually the Spanish don't consider arts and culture to be other. It's part of the fabric of their society, which of course it should be. Now you're on the plane on the way home.
Mhm.
Um, having had a wonderful year. You've been waved off at the airport by your friends. Your Spanish is a lot better. And you have a note from the Family Foundation saying that the limitation around classical music has been lifted. So after 12 months of not hearing it, what would be the first piece of music you'd want to hear that isn't classical?
Jeez, probably something by the Black Keys, something just like completely on the other end of the spectrum. Or like some really
Excellent.
good hip hop or R&B or something that's just a little bit rowdier.
Nice.
Yeah.
One final question then, is who who did you have an opportunity to see live
Mhm.
and didn't and now regret it?
Oh, on this whole fantasy cultural year,
No,
uh,
just in general, in real life.
in general, in real life. Oh, geez. Okay, so when I was working for the symphony, they had Ben Folds come like 4 times in the 5 years that I worked there, and I was either sick or out of town or not scheduled to work, and then I like didn't get tickets to go until they were until they had sold them out. And so I just always regret not seeing Ben Folds.
Oh, is that the same as Ben Folds 5?
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Yeah,
And
the
he does a
Ben.
great orchestra show where he will actually compose a piece of music live with the orchestra based on audience suggestions. It's great.
Wow. Sounds a little
Yeah.
bit like Jacob Collier.
Oh, yeah?
Have you seen Jacob Collier?
No, no, I haven't.
Oh my Lord. Google Jacob Collier audience choir.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
It's staggering. And he's done Glastonbury. He's the most incredibly gifted multi-instrumentalist.
Uh-huh.
And he turns the audience into a choir.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. No, I love those kinds of things.
Yeah, do have a look. You'll be blown away. Absolutely. Um, Excellent. So yes, there you go. That's your
Great.
fantasy cultural year. I hope you enjoyed it.
Yes, absolutely. Let's make it happen
Excellent.
for real.
I know that's what most people say. Please open a travel agency so I can book it. Um, Excellent. I just want to do one more thing with you, if you don't mind. Another bit of fun. It's the this or that game. Have you got
Okay.
time? Got
Sure.
time? I'm going to give you two options and you have to choose one or the other.
Okay.
Okay. Some of these are a little bit odd. These are experimental, shall we say. It gets easier. Taylor Swift covering opera classics or Pavarotti attempting a pop song.
I mean, the chance to see Pavarotti, that would probably be that one, even if it's like just completely flops.
Yeah. Accordion or bagpipes.
Um, this is going to be an unpopular answer, but I actually like both of them. If I had to pick one over the other, I'd probably pick the bagpipes just because, yeah, I love Scottish things.
Yeah.
But
I love the, is it Illyrian pipes? I can't remember. It's the Irish version of the Scottish
oh, okay,
bagpipe.
yeah.
Incredible. There's a lovely saying as well. A gentleman is someone who can play the banjo but doesn't. All right, a hip opera or a reggae symphony?
Honestly, I'd be curious about both of those, but I have to pick one. Uh, I don't know. I love the hip hopper guy on Instagram, TikTok. I would love to see a full thing. That would be great.
Right. Um, okay, now we're going to go for the fast track ones, okay? Tea or coffee?
I actually don't drink either. So
Okay, that's
yeah.
fine. Radio or TV?
I love TV so much.
Comedy or horror?
Comedy,
Concert hall or sports stadium?
concert hall.
Test the water or dive in at the deep end?
Uh oh, it's supposed to be rapid fire. Test the water.
Orange juice, pulp or no pulp?
Pulp.
An hour in a library or an hour in a museum?
Hour in a museum.
Beethoven or Mozart?
Oh gosh, hard one. Beethoven.
Yeah, I'm with you. Shower or bath?
Bath.
Cooking or being cooked for?
Cooking.
Me
Yeah,
too. Fiction
great.
or non-fiction?
Ugh, another hard one. Nonfiction.
Android or iPhone?
iPhone.
Sand or snow?
Sand.
Reggae or salsa?
Sorry, I live in the wrong place for sand or snow. I live in snow. But sand, by the reggae or
Salsa.
salsa.
Indoors or outdoors?
Indoors. I can
Um,
see the outdoors from my window. It's
I
fine.
know. Start immediately or wait until the last minute.
Oh gosh. My entire career has been learning to not wait until the last minute. So we'll start immediately.
Okay. Excellent. Now your a final one, and thank you so much for doing this. See the future or change the past.
Those both come with burdens. See the future.
That's got the lottery numbers in it.
Yeah, yeah.
Kathleen, thank you so much for doing this. This has been great fun. I hope you enjoyed it.
Oh, I
Uh,
did.
those who watch this will feel as though they've met you as I have, and it's been a delight. Thank you very much. We'll publish and promote this, and people will be able to find you and reach you where they find this. But thanks so much again for being one of our full members. It's very much appreciated.
No problem. It was great to be here. Thank you so much. This was
Thank you.
fun.